And let's bring in our State House insiders now. Antoine Seawright, our Democratic strategist. Dave Wilson, our Republican strategist. Want to get your reaction to what's going on with the search for a new U.S. Supreme Court justice and the fact that it could end up being, we're not saying it will be, but it could end up being Michelle Childs, Judge Childs from here in South Carolina. Antoine?
Well, I'm very proud. I'm very proud because it was the advice and counsel of our leader, the Majority Whip Jim Clyburn, at the South Carolina debate in February 2020. His urging the president to use that language and lingo in the debate, saying if he were to become president of the United States and if there was a vacancy, he would nominate a historical person to the bench, being in that of a Black woman. And so we're in this moment because of South Carolina and because of the Majority Whip Jim Clyburn. We could be in a moment, as you said in your opening, JR, where we have a Supreme Court justice from South Carolina in the form of Judge Childs. What I do know about her, other than her reputation, her character is respected by so many, including our U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham and our U.S. Senator Tim Scott. She has earned the right to be on the short list of the president for consideration. So we all should be proud of the fact that that is a close, touchable thing for those of us from South Carolina.
This absolutely shows the importance of South Carolina in national politics. We talk about this all the time. You know, President Biden had a hard turn when he came to South Carolina, and Jim Clyburn's endorsement really catapulted him into the position that he needed to be for him to get the nomination from the Democratic Party back in 2020. When you take a look at this and the influence that Congressman Clyburn is having on this particular pick, the fact that you've got a South Carolinian who is in this position. It's been a while since we've seen somebody from South Carolina on the court. James F. Burns might have been one of the last people from South Carolina who was on the court. And that is a big statement. And you look at the fact that you'll now have a court, if Childs is nominated and does make it to the court, that is a very diverse reflection of America. And that's a good thing.
All right, let's turn our focus now to our state house and some issues going on over there. Late yesterday, Governor McMaster signing into law the controversial new redistricting maps for the 7 congressional districts. Antoine, we're going to get some lawsuits out of this or not?
Yeah, I'm sure they were probably filed ahead of the governor signing the legislation. Look, we knew that the process of having fair and balanced lines in South Carolina was going to take a turn for the worse based on the posture and position of some of the language and lingo that came out of the House, and then the language and lingo that came out of the state Senate. And so therefore, like many states across the country, gerrymandering is a real thing. And you're going to see this being settled again, Dave, as I just said, at the court level. Hopefully, this can be settled very quickly so we can keep intact and in place the dates of our primaries, because we do have elections coming up here in the state of South Carolina.
It was very interesting to watch some of the video from the Senate floor, because it was almost as if Dick Harpootlian was floating around waiting for that last moment. But yesterday afternoon, the governor did meet with members of the Judiciary Committee downstairs in his office, and they were actually discussing everything before he did the final signing on those maps. Again, folks, we do this every 10 years because it is part of the constitutional process of redistricting. And so we'll have to see what happens with the courts going on from here.
All right, the medical marijuana bill is finally got some debate on the Senate floor. Is this going to go anywhere, Dave?
It's got a long way to go. Senator Davis was wrapping up his introduction today, but there are senators in the opposition of this right now who are preparing this weekend to extend that debate at least for the next 3 days of legislative session, because there are a lot of discrepancies that are existing within the bill. Senator Davis has already started making amendments from his introduction. And very rarely do we ever have a 59-page bill in a South Carolina General Assembly. I think you're going to see a lot of questions coming up from a lot of different senators who are trying to find answers before they'll do anything to move this bill forward.
Well, you know, the pressure is going to come from those who say they're pro-law enforcement. And law enforcement has been clear about their position on the legislation. So I think that's going to put some folks in some unique positions. But the debate that's being had in the South Carolina State Senate is a debate that's taking place all around the country. I think the tectonic plates are starting to shift around the conversation of medical marijuana, or even the legalization of marijuana, period. And so however this debate plays out in the Senate here, rest assured that if it does not go the way that those who are pro this legislation goes, we're going to see it again and again. And eventually, folks are going to hope that the dominoes fall in the way they hope they should as relates to the issue.
All right. I want to thank Antoine Seawright, our Democratic strategist, Dave Wilson, our Republican strategist. Guys, thank you so very much.